Now that we have a basic understanding, let's look at the ways you can search Live's browser. So up at the top of the browser, there's a search field, and you can either click there to begin a search, or you can move your cursor there by key command, and that would be Command F on a Mac or Control F on a PC. Once you're there, you can type in search terms, and I'm going to type in kick and 808 to show you that when you do a search, the search results will contain everything that is part of your search terms. So in this case, all of these results contain both the word kick and the number 808. Now you'll notice that some of them start with the number, other ones start with the word kick, and we've even got one here that's got the word kick, it looks like right there, and then 808 with some other stuff. So every one of the results has both those words, and we don't see any results that have just the word kick or the number 808. Now, once you're done with the search, you can clear it by clicking the X button up here at the top or hitting the Escape key. Now, we can also search using filters and tags. This is something that's new to Ableton Live 12. So up at the top of the All category, you'll see that there is this option for filters, and if I click that triangle, it opens it up and it shows me different filter groups, and within these filter groups, I see tags. Now, what we see here is different for each one of the categories. So if I go down to instruments, for example, and open up the filters area, I see different options here. Now up at the top, I can right click and I can change the different filter groups that I see by clicking one that doesn't have a check mark next to it to add that, or clicking one with a check mark to get rid of that from the available filter groups that are there. So let's do a search using tags in the instruments area, and I'm going to do a search for a pad, and I'm going to drop down into the character area, and I want to do a search looking for, let's say, spacious tabs. Now, if I wanted to add the word soft to this, if I click that, you'll notice that within that group, it cleared the word spacious. It didn't clear the word pad from the sounds area, but it did clear spacious. So if I want to have both of those tags in this search, I've got to command click those. If you're on a PC, that would be control click. And at that point, I can go down and I can open up some of these folders and see what I've gotten for my results. So I've got 3 results here. Let's check out the first one. Okay, the first one is something that's close to what I'm looking for. And that takes me to another Live 12 new feature, and that's this other little button that shows up, and that is called the Show Similar Files. So if I click on that, it takes me to a group of results that are all similar to that original item that I had selected, which was this Chomper split pad. I'll click that just so that we hear that again, and then I'm going to select some of these others. I'll hit my space bar to stop playback there. And you can hear that all of these are very similar to that. And in fact, you can even see that they're graded on how similar they are with this little bar graph that we see here. So as we go down, you can see that it gets shorter and shorter, indicating that as we get deeper into the results, that result is not as similar as the ones that are higher in the list. I'll also point out that when I clicked the Show Similar Files button, it took me into the All category. So if I clear this and I go back into my Instruments area, well, that search is still there. It's still active. So if I want, I can take this search and I can add that over here into the sidebar. And I can do that by clicking this little plus button that's at the top of the results area. So that's got the search terms that or the tags that I had in there. And if I hit my return key, I can save it over there so that if I ever come back later, all I have to do is click on that and it brings up those results. Now, if you want to rename that or delete it, you can just right click on it and you'll see both of those options available there in the contextual menu. So all of the content in Live is pre-tagged. And in fact, if I go into one of these categories like the drums area, and I click the edit button here that's at the top next to the filters drop-down, it shows me all of the different tag groups and tags within those groups. And with the drums one open, I can see that this choice here, this Candler kit, has been tagged as a hybrid kit. If I wanted to add any of these other tags, all I would need to do would be to click on them, and that would add that. So if I did a search, for example, for synth kit, now Candler kit would show up in the results. Now the third-party items that we've made available in Live through clicking the Add Folder button, and you can see that I've got the Gold Baby folder and these Free Rises by Output folders added here, and I did that by clicking on Add Folder and navigating through my Finder window to these folders and then choosing them. Now this stuff is not tagged, so if I go into, for example, Gold Baby, and I click on one of these, you can see that I don't see any tags that are checked. So if I wanted to tag one of these results, for example, in this bass drum category, I could go up and say, hey, that's a one-shot file, and it's a kick. Now, if I wanted to do this to multiple files simultaneously, I could either shift-click them, or if they're non-contiguous, I could click them and then command-click the other ones. On a PC, that would be control-click to select non-contiguous files. Okay, with that selected, I'll go one shot and I'll go kick. And I'll click away from there just to show you that one's not tagged, but if I click one of these top couple, we can see that the tags are available. So now if I go over to my all category, and I'll go out of the edit area, and I'll go one shot, and I'll go kick, I see that all of those ones that I tagged showed up. Now they're at the top because they've got numbers at the beginning. So that made it easier to show you this example. Now, I want to tag something that there isn't a tag available for it. So I'm going to go back in. Let me clear this search real quick. I'm going to click the edit button again, and I'm going to drop down. Let's see, let's close some of these and get them out of the way. Yeah, I'm going to go into the clips area, and you'll notice that down at the bottom of each one of these tag groups, there's this add tag button. And I'm going to click that, and I'm going to add one called Riser. So now I can go over into this Free Rises by Output folder. And again, I'm going to just select about the first 5 of these. And I'm going to click and add the Riser tag to those. And now if I go back to my all category and I go into the clips area, I can see that Riser is available. And if I click on that, it shows me the 5 that I selected from that group of third-party samples that I've added into the Places area. So finding and auditioning devices can be frustrating, but Live 12 offers several effective ways to search the browser.